All right, hi week 16. As promised, I said I'd make you a video, and I'm not quite sure how the quality of this is going to go, but this is the thread from the unit that I did last time I did this, and this is week 6, so the same week as yours. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. So as you can see, there's the 2 threads that I made, which is just the sign up threads. And then we've just got 1 thread, which has just got the week 6 defining balance, And that is the thread that everybody posts in. So I guess the problem with having multiple threads, I suppose there's nothing wrong with it per se. We've never had that before because we try and keep it all in one thread so that everyone basically knows where to post. And even from an ELA point of view, there's one post that we need to mark from, because I don't want to be checking 4 different threads and accidentally miss people here and there, and it just gets a bit messy with marking. So we try and keep it all in one thread. So basically there'll be so many posts per day, and then you keep adding to it as the week progresses. So I'm just going to click in so you can see. Hopefully it loads up in a sec. All right, so there we go. So it basically starts off with the director sort of introducing everybody and saying these are the roles and who we are, and they basically get the week started off in much the same way that us as ELAs do. So you might have a video, you could have a little activity that you wanted someone to do, that you want students to do for the week. But basically it's something to engage the audience and get the week started. So I'm pretty sure that the director would have a pretty good idea, hopefully by now, on what they wanted to do. So it's just one post. I'm scrolling down. As you can see, one post to start off by the director, and then the student who accidentally forgot to put his references, those just pop them in there. You do need to reference after each post. I'm not really too keen on having one long reference list at the end. It's much easier if you just post as you go. So whatever information you use in that thread, just pop in, the references there. Then as you can see, some of the students have posted underneath that. So there'll be students who respond. I'm just going to keep scrolling down. There's students that respond to what has happened. Even you who are in this team week, you can post as well. But obviously there'll be other students who respond. You might have this is what I basically wanted to tell you, which was hard to type in an email, is that when you're doing literacy circles with a grade, it's not like working on a collaborative team project where everyone is contributing and then there's one set result at the end. With literacy circles, everyone has a job to do, and then the only team aspect is when you come together to talk about it. In our sense, we've got the planning beforehand. If you were doing it in a classroom, you wouldn't have that. And all the planning beforehand needed to be was just to know when you want to bring things out. So like I was saying in the collab, we wouldn't want a picture and a question and a resource all stuck in the first hour of this thread going live, because it's too much for the other students to try and comment on all of that all at once. So you might have, the start of the day of 1, you might start with the director, and then the start of day 2, you start with a picture, and the start of day 3, you start with a resource, just to spread it out. It doesn't mean that you can't post other things during the day. Just try and weave it so that you're keeping the momentum going throughout the week. You don't have to worry too much about stepping on each other's toes in terms of, if you're the resource and you want to put a picture of something, it doesn't mean that you're taking away from the illustrator, because the illustrator's job is to have pictures that mean something. So their job is completely different. And if something kind of overlaps a little bit, that's fine. We're not going to be losing marks on that. As I was talking about with the collaborative idea, you do need to leave people to their own role, because that's what they're bringing to the group. So, for example, I'm going to give you an example of what happened last time. I had a group, everybody was on the ball with their job except one person. So I could see that the questioner had asked lots of questions throughout the week and been really engaged in the conversation, and the director was there keeping the discussion moving, and there was heaps of resources and lots of, I had a great cartoon that had a hidden message behind it, and we were discussing what the message was of the cartoon. So it was a great week. But one person who, I can't remember what their role was now, say it was a summariser, did one 3-sentence summary at the end of the week, and they thought that that was enough. Now, that person ended up getting a different grade to the people from the rest of the team. And I'm quite happy to do that, and that's what will happen this time with our groups too. So you can't be responsible for what everybody does, but it will reflect in marks whether someone hasn't contributed to the team as well as what some other people have. So I guess the main thing is, as well as doing your planning and trying to get everybody on board, that at the end of the day, all you can really worry about is your own role and making sure that you have had a strong presence throughout the week. I'm not sure if I've answered everybody's questions, but I will try to. I'm just going to give you I know that this particular student was the connector, so she was making connections between what the director had said and what another student had said. I'm not sure if there's any pictures in this one. One of the resources, here's a cartoon that the illustrator has shared. I know that I think the resourcer was sharing some activities, as in lesson plans, that they thought, well, it might not have been lesson plans, but it was something along those lines. Keep scrolling down. So it's one big long thread, which other students from our group will come into, and so I'll just move that over. Will come in and respond. So at the end of each one, and I can see here that there's questions being asked related to one of the things that another student brought up. Bit hard to see in this, but I thought I'd just give you an idea. Yeah, so it's one long post throughout the week. So I know that you guys were confused about who posts what, and you couldn't quite see how it would work, but it does work in the sense that each person is responsible for posting their own job. And this is exactly what would happen in a classroom if you were doing literacy circles. So if you were in a 5-6 classroom, you would ask the kids to choose a novel, they would read a chapter at home. They would come back, the illustrator would come back with a picture, the director would come back with how they were going to facilitate the discussion, questioner comes back with questions. Everybody does their own part, and everyone presents their own part. The director doesn't take the illustrator's picture and do it for them. Each person is responsible for their own part, so you need to make sure that's happening. Which is easier for you guys because you have to worry more about your own role rather than taking roles away from other people. So let me know what you think of this. I'm not sure if I've answered all the questions. I've been trying to think of all the things that people have been asking me this morning. If you're still feeling really, really confused, let me know, because what we can do is have maybe a quick collab tonight with just a couple of us, me and you guys, and maybe I can answer any more questions. Or I'll stay on the email today, and yeah, just let me know if you've got anything else you need to ask.